Kirby Smart's going to have to replace his defensive backs coach as Jahmile Addae is leaving Georgia to go take the same position at Miami. And, it's not really surprising. This is something that was coming for some time. I don't know what the holdup was in terms of the official announcement from Miami, but this has been in the works at least for days, if not some time. There's been some discussion of Addae leaving um, earlier in the year, I guess now. I was going to say month, but we're already in February. So it's not surprising, as I said. Now Georgia is in a position right now where they can pick up one more assistant coach. The question I've got, and I don't know if there's an answer to this yet, is if Will Muschamp's going to coach the DBs or if he's just going to be the defensive coordinator or the co-defensive coordinator with Glenn Schumann. I mean, right now Georgia needs to add one assistant coach. That's my reading of the mathematics there. So there's going to be one person that's added to this staff. Before I get on too far, make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. Um, everything's going great on that front. We're still getting a ton of orders, and you can order right now too, and still get in on getting yours delivered probably at the end of February or the very beginning of March. So make sure you're ordering it right now. It's awesome. I had someone read it lately. Someone has read it lately. I didn't have them read it, but they were very enthused by it. And, a lot of pictures you're not going to see anywhere else. And it's a keepsake. It's something that's, nobody else has got. The other books, I've seen them. They're good. They're not this book, though. So make sure that you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION today. And when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll have it on screen here sometime next week in full form so you can see what it looks like. But, for Kirby, this is a situation they have rolled through a fair amount of defensive backs coach. I mean, they've had one running backs coach the entire time in Dell McGee. They've had, only two offensive line coaches. But at DB, this will be their fourth defensive backs coach in 7 seasons. One of those was Mel Tucker, and he's now the head coach at Michigan State. I don't think it's alarming in any way. This is what happens, at Alabama. This is what's going to happen at Georgia from here on out. Is that guys are going to have opportunities at other places because of the success as a program that Georgia has. And, with Addae and his background, going to Miami makes a lot of sense for him, the same way, James Coley being at Miami would make a lot of sense. So, Mario Cristobal is putting together a program down there that, I think if you're Kirby and them, you'd kind of shake a pom pom for. And the reason why is if Miami is going to be relevant, and let's be clear, with the exception of 2 years under Mark Richt, I would say they've not been relevant for 2 decades. I mean, it's been since losing the national championship game in 2002 that Miami's mattered at all. Their move to the ACC has been a train wreck, and they have not had competent coaching in that town except the time when Mark was down there, and it shows. I mean, he got them to the Orange Bowl or whatever it was. Um, nobody else has mattered in any way. So um, if Miami can be relevant, that will be a check against Florida. I think Florida State is getting better, but they've been horrible. I mean, the last couple of years of Jimbo to now have been a train wreck at Florida State. They have not mattered, I guess, since Alabama punched them in the face 16,000 times in Atlanta to open the 16 season. They're just not good. Um, and so those two programs are the one thing that you pay attention to a little bit with the Gators. Florida's got their own problems. I'm not sure why I've even spilled onto talking about all of this, other than it does seem to me like Miami is turning towards going in the right direction. When you talk with folks, who have been down there, they'll say if Miami gets the correct funding and so forth, they'll be in good shape. And I think they're going to do that with Cristobal. We'll just see. For Georgia, it's just another opportunity for Kirby to bring somebody in at a spot that's an important position in football. I mean, obviously, all positions are important, but you'd have to say the defensive back, with the amount of guys it is really important because of stuff like special teams. You don't get a lot of offensive linemen that that matter in special teams. On a DB, you do. So whoever this person will be is important. Now, with all of that said, the two programs in the country that can get away with a lot of turnover at defensive back are Alabama and Georgia. Why? Because the head coaches were DBs. I mean, that's what they did, that's what they know, that's their specialty. And you've seen that through time at Alabama, and you're seeing that now at Georgia with the guys that they're sticking in the league. Stokes, Campbell, Ringo will go in there, Kendrick will go in there, Lewis Seen. There's just been a lot of guys. I mean, needless to say. So um, this is an opportunity for a coach to come in, get the last year of Keely Ringo, get the last year of Christopher Smith, and kind of keep it moving. You're also going to get Tyke Smith. I'm assuming will get his first chance at playing in Silver Britches this fall. But Georgia in the secondary has done. I don't want to say I think it's been a really good job of managing injuries, players who you folks forget about. They they suddenly appear. I mean, Latravius Brini has transferred, but he had a good stretch of time from the end of 20 to about the middle of 21. There are good players in this secondary. Are there elite players like Stokes and Campbell were? I don't know yet. I mean, Ringo. I don't know if Ringo's a first round guy. I'm not sure if I'm equipped enough to say something like that. I'm not an expert in any way on defensive backs. It's not something I know the first thing about. That when I was playing football, I was close to the line of scrimmage. Okay, and these DBs can get out there and be twitchy and have their hips and everything. But the biggest thing to me about a defensive back is you've got to have the ability to have some serious mental toughness, because any one play as a DB can change the game against you or for you. We saw that in both games with Alabama, game 1 and 2. The one play to, I think it was Williams. I'm blanking on names here after a while. The one play to Williams in the championship game. For the record, when I say championship game, I always mean the SEC championship game. Okay, my wife looks at me really confused sometimes. When I'm talking about the championship game, I mean the SEC championship game. That's what I'm referring to at all times. I will say national championship game when I mean the national championship game. Sorry. It's just that, for those of us who have been in the SEC forever, that's the quickest reference is the championship game is the SEC championship game. It is confusing, but in that one game, you had a quick play change. Alabama was able to hit the Dogs with Williams, and then they just steamrolled them from there. And that was because of poor coverage from Georgia. They were in the, I mean, it was just not good. They were not where they were supposed to be. It was a bust. I don't know if I can't recall if Kirby described it that way, but I don't know how else you describe it. I mean, there was no one around him. And the SEC logo, and you see this in DAWGSTRUCTION, how it's one of the images in there is how big the SEC logo is versus how small the players are when you're looking down on it. And there was nobody in the frame of the SEC logo with Williams. He was just gone. Okay, so that's how much space he had. Almost 10 yards. You can't give a collegiate athlete at any level 10 yards to do what they want to do. I mean, this is something we talked about all the time in basketball. Do you have space and time? The answer to that as a defender should be no. You should be, as we called it, you should be in their balls. But anyway, that wasn't what happened. I wish it was Miami. In Indianapolis, it was a different story. Of course, they didn't have one of their very good receivers, and Williams just couldn't get open before he got hurt. I mean, he didn't do much of anything. So at DB, Georgia's going to have the opportunity. There's a book sale right there. I appreciate that. Um, Georgia's going to have an opportunity to hire a quality head coach. Will Kirby go young? I don't know. He just did. It's a spot that he is an expert in for sure. I don't think there's much question he will handle this the right way and get someone. I would imagine that can really recruit. I mean, this is a spot between just him and Will. I mean, these are guys who were all SEC or at least academic all SEC guys that have a specialty, not just playing the position, but coaching the position. They understand how to develop guys in the secondary. So between Will and Kirby, you're good on that front. The question is, who would be the biggest fit to fill that spot recruiting wise? And it could be Will. I mean, I don't know. There's some question as it relates to Scott Sinclair and what his role is in terms of on the field. That's why I'm saying they have a position left. So there's a little bit of haziness here, but my suspicion is they will fill this position at DB, and we'll just see what happens. All right, thanks for watching. Go over to the website. Make sure you're clicking on DAWGSTRUCTION. That is your call to action today. Click on DAWGSTRUCTION so we can get that to you in early March or late February. Thanks for watching.